Video Part 3, Review by Critical Events. Reviewing critical events. The most significant events that occurred during the Holter test appear in the critical events window. You could review and edit them as needed in the critical events window. Each type of critical event has a number associated with it, the number of events of that type that were identified for this patient. Every event of each type could be displayed either one at a time, full-sized, or 12 at a time, miniature. To select a type to be displayed, use the scroll bar to scroll through the list and display your choice, and then click on your selection. To move through the displayed episodes, use the page up and page down keys, the scroll bar, the scroll button on your mouse, or click Scan to automatically move from one display to the next. Click the Scan button again to stop the display. When multiple episodes are displayed, the button label changes to Single. Click that to display just one episode. When a single episode is displayed, click the Multiple button to display 12 at a time. You can also double-click on a strip to toggle back and forth between the single and multiple displays. Each event is labeled with time of day and RR interval. In addition, if the ECG appears in a strip saved for the printed report, the word Saved appears to the right of the RR interval. ST events. ST events are in the critical events list. If you click ST events, the strips showing the maximum ST deviation during each event are displayed. In addition, an ST event table button appears. This allows you to display a table listing the ST events that were found on this Holter test. Heart rate, HR strips, Enhanced Plus and Pro levels. Critical events includes this display of all the ECG recorded during the Holter period in 7.5 second strips. While some beats may appear more than once in other categories because they are adjacent to the current beat being displayed, this category displays each beat in one strip only. The heart rate listed is based on all beats present in the displayed strip. Saved strips. Saved strips are in the critical events list so that you can review the strips saved for the final report without leaving the critical events window. Changing the amount of time displayed. The display field controls the amount of time that appears in the single event display. Click on the arrow in the field to show your choices, and click on your choice to change the amount of time displayed. Saving sample strips for the report. As you review the ECG, you could choose to manually save sample strips for the report. The 7.5 second sample strips are printed as full-sized 25 mm per second ECG on a background grid. To save a strip containing one of the displayed beats, click on the beat you want at the center of the strip to make it the current beat, and then click Keep. The Keep window opens. To keep it with the current label, click OK. To relabel the strip, type the label in the description field or select a label from the scrolling list, then click OK to save the strip. To save multiple strips with all the same label, click on each one to be saved, then click on the Keep button and click on the button that indicates multiple strips. It will read X strips, with X equal to the number of strips you selected before clicking Keep. Any strips you manually save are included in the Save Strips window. If you decide to close the Keep window without saving the strip, click Cancel. Sorting episodes within a type. The Sort field lets you change the order of the episodes within each type. You could choose RR interval to put them in order based on the RR interval from shortest to longest, starting with the current beat. Unlike RR interval labeling elsewhere in the software, which labels the interval length from the current beat to the following beat, sorting by RR interval in critical events sorts based on the RR interval preceding the current beat. In that way, you could review the most premature beats of a type or the latest beats of a type. The time setting orders the episodes based on the time of day of the event from earliest to latest. The 24-hour setting also orders them by time of day, but the histogram at the top of the window is divided into hourly intervals. To change the setting, use the scroll bar to display additional choices and then click on your choice. Histograms. The top portion of the critical events window presents a histogram showing the distribution of the events within the type displayed, either an RR histogram or a 24-hour histogram. The RR histogram plots the length of the RR interval preceding each episode of the displayed type. The number of events is on the vertical axes with a log scale, and RR interval in milliseconds is on the horizontal axes. The blue marker is located at the position of the current event. To display the event associated with an alternate RR interval, click on the RR interval in the histogram. The appropriate event will appear as the active event in the bottom portion of the window. The 24-hour histogram shows how many episodes of the displayed type occurred during each 10-minute interval of the recording. The blue arrow is located at the position of the current event. To display the events associated with a different time of day, click on the histogram at that time. The appropriate event will appear as the active event in the bottom portion of the window. What each histogram displays is based on the setting in the sort field. The settings RR interval and time displays the RR histogram. The settings 24 hours displays a time of day histogram shown above. Data fields. The data fields in this window are just like those in all other review windows. Two blue vertical markers, calipers, appear within the current episode. The markers can be used to make measurements which appear in the data fields. Drag the blue markers to appropriate locations to have the data fields display heart rate, HR2RR field that shows the heart rate calculation based on the blue markers being 2 RR intervals apart. The time field indicates the time in seconds between the blue markers. The ST1 field displays the vertical difference between where the markers intersect channel 1. The left marker should define isoelectric, and the right marker should be located where you want the ST measurement made. The S2 field displays the vertical difference between where the markers intersect channel 2. They should be positioned as indicated for channel 1. The ST3 field displays the vertical difference between where the markers intersect channel 3. They should be positioned as indicated for channel 1. Click the Both checkbox to drag the markers, keeping them the same distance apart. Click the Both box again to move the markers separately. To keep the calipers in the same locations as you move through different screens of ECG, click the checkbox next to Lock. The calipers will stay in the indicated locations unless you move them again. Click to turn off. Printing the ECG now. To print a strip of ECG centered on a displayed beat, along with a page of full disclosure of the surrounding rhythm, use the Print button. When the print window opens, click the left-hand button to print with the current beat centered on the page of full disclosure, or click the middle button to print with the current beat on the first line of the page. Click Cancel to close without printing. Relabeling in critical events. All relabeling done in the critical events window is single beat editing. Only the current beat within the selected event is relabeled when you use these relabel buttons. A for artifact, V for ventricular, N for normal, S for supraventricular, P for paced, appears only if pacemaker mode is on in scanning criteria, B for aberrant, Q for questionable unknown, T for T-wave. To relabel a beat within the critical events window, click on the event to select it. This turns the relabel buttons from dimmed to colored. Click on one of the colored relabel buttons to relabel the selected beat. To relabel multiple beats, click on Several, then click the Relabel button. To relabel all displayed beats, click the All button, then the Relabel button. In addition, these relabel buttons appear whenever the type displayed is an ectopic event of either ventricular or supraventricular origin. Single. This will change all beat labels to normal except for the current beat, which will be called a single SVPB or VPB depending on its present label. If the present type is SVT, this button will remove the run that was counted and replace it with an SVPB. If the present type is VPB pair, this button will subtract the pair and replace it with a VPB. Pair. This will change beat labels so that two sequential beats are called a pair, either an SVPB pair or a VPB pair, depending on its present label. If the present type is VPB, this button will change the selected event to be labeled and counted as a VPB pair. If the present type is SVT, the selected run will be relabeled and counted as an SVPB pair. Run. This will change beat labels so that 3 sequential beats are called a run, either SVT or VTAC, depending on its present label. If the present type is SVPB, a 3-beat run of SVT will replace the SVPB. If the present type is a VPB pair, a 3-beat run of VTAC will replace the pair.